Imagine this: you're stuck in traffic, late for something important. Your chest tightens, frustration builds, and yet, no amount of anger makes those cars move. What if I told you there's a psychological skill so simple, yet so life-changing, that it can free you from this constant fight with reality? It's called radical acceptance. And in the next 20 minutes, you'll learn how this DBT skill can change the way you suffer, heal, and ultimately live. By the end of this video, you won't just know what radical acceptance is, you'll understand why it's one of the most powerful tools in dialectical behavior therapy. You'll see how it rewires your relationship with pain, how it reduces unnecessary suffering, and how you can start applying it right now. What you're about to learn will change the way you see yourself, your struggles, and even your past. Let's start with the basics. Radical acceptance is a DBT skill developed by psychologist Marsha Linehan. At its core, it's the practice of fully accepting reality as it is, without judgment, without resistance, and without trying to fight what cannot be changed. Notice, this doesn't mean you like reality. It doesn't mean you approve of what's happening. It means you stop the inner war against it. Because every time you resist reality, you create a second layer of suffering, on top of the pain that's already there. In DBT terms, pain is inevitable. Suffering, however, is optional, and radical acceptance is the bridge between the two. Why do we resist reality in the first place? It comes down to the brain's wiring. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, that painful tension when what we want doesn't match what is. For example, let's say a relationship ends. The reality is, it's over. But our mind says, this shouldn't be happening. I can't handle this. It's not fair. That internal battle turns pain into torture. In neuroscience, this shows up as heightened amygdala activity, the brain's fear center, and reduced prefrontal control. Resistance literally traps us in emotional chaos. Radical acceptance interrupts this cycle. It tells the brain, this is real. I may not like it, but I can face it. That shift alone reduces stress responses and calms the nervous system. Let me share a story. A client I once worked with, we'll call her Maya, lost her job unexpectedly. She spent weeks in anger and despair, replaying the thought, this shouldn't have happened. She resisted reality so fiercely that she couldn't even update her resume. When she learned radical acceptance, she said something that struck me deeply. I realized I was arguing with the past, and the past never loses. The moment she accepted, yes, I lost my job. This is the reality I face today, her energy shifted. Within a month, she was applying to new positions. Within 3, she was working again. Radical acceptance didn't erase her pain, but it freed her from the unnecessary suffering that was holding her hostage. And here's the curious part. Research in behavior therapy journals shows that practicing acceptance increases resilience, reduces depression, and even helps with chronic pain management. That's how powerful this is. So how do you actually do radical acceptance? Think of it as a 3-step practice. Notice your resistance. Ask yourself, am I fighting reality right now? Am I caught in, it shouldn't be this way? Name the reality. Say it plainly, without judgment, this relationship ended. This diagnosis is real. This is where I am today. Lean into acceptance. Sometimes this means repeating, I don't like this, but I accept it. Other times, it's a physical act, relaxing your shoulders, breathing deeply, unclenching your jaw. And yes, it takes practice. Radical acceptance is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. One tip, start small. Try it the next time your Wi-Fi drops, or someone cuts in line. Notice the urge to fight reality, and instead say, it is what it is. You'll be amazed how liberating that feels. Now, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. Radical acceptance is not passivity. It doesn't mean you give up, condone injustice, or stop trying to improve your life. Think of it this way: acceptance is the first step before effective action. You can't solve a problem you refuse to admit exists. By saying, "This is reality," you stop wasting energy on denial and start channeling it toward change. Another misconception is that acceptance means numbness. But actually, it's the opposite. When you stop resisting, you feel more present, more grounded, and paradoxically, more alive. So here's the truth: life will always contain pain. Loss, rejection, illness, disappointment, these are the tides of being human. But suffering, that's the storm we create by fighting those tides. Radical acceptance is the anchor. It doesn't stop the waves, but it steadies the ship.